and he's going to house it.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the final Angle of Pursuit podcast for the 2022 NASCAR season. I am your host, Kyle Robert. You follow me on Twitter at NotoriousKRO. With me live from Las Vegas is Brian Twining. What's up, Brian?
What's up, Kyle? Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because even the sports books out here, they've been pretty shiesty on their NASCAR bets. They haven't really posted much. They're just starting to release them now, and we're sitting here recording at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow at the sports book. I'll probably leave and go back to the condo for the afternoon game, so that way I can watch the NASCAR race because the sports books don't put it on.
Yeah, no, NASCAR will have the prime location tomorrow. I have a few honeydews. I got to knock those out in the morning. Then I'll get home, front row seat for the entire race. I'll have red zone on the small screen. Just keep an eye. But yeah, tomorrow's football slate stinks, and the Titans don't play till the Sunday night game. So,
and there's only two afternoon NFL games. It's like they knew that NASCAR was going to be taking the center of our attention.
I appreciate that. So for the final time, we'll build a DraftKings lineup. We'll kind of talk through our thoughts over there. We'll update you on our betting card. We'll try and find some more bets. Action Network is still broken, so we'll run through DraftKings. We'll run through FanDuel. We'll give you our thoughts on kind of other stuff. If you have specific questions, let us know down in the comments, and we'll try and wrap around before the race starts and answer anything there. But Brian, with further ado, let's jump into it. I'll share my screen here, and we can talk about DraftKings with qualifying in the book. So qualifying is done. Interesting qualifying for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Joey Logano looks dominant. His number has shrank pretty much everywhere. So if you liked him, hopefully you got a piece of it already. But he looked really, really strong. The number hasn't really relatively shrinking that much. So if you wanted to bet him, I would still bet him. Our guy Ross didn't look great, but started 17th last time, ended up finishing second. Although Phoenix had really, before this year, hasn't really been a place where he thrives. So,
I understand that fully and wholeheartedly, but with the way that we've seen him basically throw caution to the wind, I don't think you can count him out regardless of how crappy his car looked today. I think this is a situation where maybe they make some adjustments and they take a lot of risks tomorrow to win the championship.
Yep. And it'll come down to a key pit stop, as Kyle Larson saw. We saw with Kyle Larson last year. Not a great sign for Christopher Bell. We'll see if Chase can pull it through. We got Joey Logano, obviously looked awesome. So let's jump into it. We have 5 options starting inside or above 10K, I guess. Chase Elliott starting 5th, Christopher Bell starting 17th, Joey Logano on the pole, Chastain starting 25th, and Kyle Larson starting 4th. It's going to be a really easy click for lots and lots and lots of people, but Chastain makes a ton of sense, obviously, starting 25th at 10.4. And then even Christopher Bell starting 17th at 10.7. If you want to get a couple playoff drivers who should be in the conversation when the race comes to an end, both guys should easily be flirting with top 5 finishes if everything goes according to schedule. So both seem like absolute smashes.
Yeah, I talked about this earlier in the week that the championship race, the 4 championship drivers have been finishing inside the top 5 more often than not. And with 4 of them finishing inside the top 10 is probably going to happen this week. So, I mean, you're going to have a ton of people putting Chastain and Bell into their lineups. So this might be a situation where if you're playing in a GPP, you might want to try to get a little frisky and pivot off of one or even both of those guys and stick at the top of the starting grid with a Logano or an Elliott who's starting further ahead of Bell and Chastain.
Yeah, Elliott starting 5th is the most expensive option, but I think could make a ton of sense. Could get to the front relatively easily, be the guy you need, and dominate. We've seen him be awesome at Phoenix. Obviously won his championship 2 years ago here. Logano, we've talked his praises. So, if you want to go with Logano, he gets in front, he stays in front, and he's just kind of there all day. Both guys could absolutely be dominant at Phoenix and make a ton of sense. So I think really guaranteeing yourself a big prize or even just hitting the cash line, figuring out those four, I think is going to be key. And then obviously Kyle Larson 10-1, and we kind of haven't really got to him yet, but has been really strong. Obviously qualified fourth, won the race here last year when the whole damn thing was on the line, so he could make some sense. As we jump into the 9K range, I think we get into some interesting names as well. Denny Hamlin starting 21st at 9.9. Byron looked really good in qualifying, qualified 8th, 9,700. Truex 12th. Kyle Busch 22nd. It's been a weird year for him, kind of ups and downs and all arounds. And your guy Ryan Blaney looked really good. He was one of the guys that if you weren't going to if you were telling me a non-Final Four driver won the race, he would be the one that makes the most sense to me. Obviously qualified really well at 9,100. Could be an interesting way to go, especially if you go with a Chastain or Christopher Bell or both in the 10K range.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand this Blaney situation. If we were driving simply on points and we were no longer in the playoffs, like he would have been inside the top four pretty much the entire year and be considered having a fantastic season. But because he couldn't get into winner's circle, he just couldn't get through the playoffs.
Yep.
The one thing that I do worry about with going with a guy like Blaney is the fact that his teammate Joey Logano is still fighting for the championship, so they may actually use him to propel Logano up further on the grid. And if it's coming down to the last lap and they're running first and third, you're definitely going to see Blaney put a block on probably Elliott or something to allow Logano to pass him and win the race, therefore forfeiting that outright. So I don't know if I'd be willing to get there with Blaney. Larson has a little bit more going for him. He's still driving for the Owners' Championship, so I think that Larson may still want to finish ahead of Chase Elliott, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's another wrinkle. We talked a little bit about it on Wednesday, and I think it's something to think about here is Blaney's starting second, so like if he can finish second, but if there's a potential chance to vault his teammate into first and have him win the race and guarantee that championship, I think there is a big likelihood that comes to fruition. Kyle Busch, it's been a rough season for him. Probably, I don't love going to him, especially at 9,300, but I wouldn't blame any. Your boy Denny Hamlin starting 21st. It's been a great season for him. Obviously just missed the cut to get into the Final Four, so he could be a compelling option as well.
Not a good sign for the JGR cars this weekend with all of them qualifying outside the top 10.
Yeah. As we dip into the 8K range, we have Tyler Reddick starting 11th, Kevin Harvick starting 7th. Trackhouse, awful weekend so far for them.
Good.
28th for Suarez, 8,400. Briscoe qualified third. I have some nice numbers on him.
Sell the ticket. This is like a Christopher Bell situation. He qualifies great. Sell the odds. You got really good.
Sell the news, buy the rumors, whatever they say.
And
then Alex Bowman. Welcome back, Alex Bowman, starting 24th at 8K. Anybody within this range that you're feeling compelled to put in, or is this maybe a range to kind of just cross off and keep it going?
Honestly, out of all of these guys, the only person that I was really high on coming into this weekend was Kevin Harvick. I mean, he's probably going to run 7th, finish 7th. So, I mean, you're not really going to get a huge bang for your buck. But as far as what you could expect out of him this Sunday, I think Harvick is the biggest guarantee there. But that being said, honestly, with all of these guys, where they qualified, what they look like, what they do, what they don't have like on the line here, it's probably a spot where you're ignoring them and you're going to the top of the board and then filling it in with guys more towards the bottom in the 7 and 6K range.
Yeah, Harvick, like, once we flip over and talk betting, could make a lot more sense depending on his numbers are sitting, but yeah, I don't really love any of these options for DK purposes. Suarez is sort of interesting, but you're paying for a lot and hoping
Yeah.
that he Trackhouse figures it out. And I mean, I guess as both of us holding Ross Chastain large tickets, we are hoping that that is the case and it comes to fruition. So maybe Chastain and Suarez and figure it out. Dipping below 8K, we have Austin Cindric starting 14th at 78, Dinger at 6 starting 16th at 77, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, and Brad Keselowski round out the 7K range. Interesting names. Obviously, Bubba, is pretty interesting, starting 23rd at 7,300. Keselowski is never somebody that we really love to get to, but could make some sense at 7K starting 18th. What's your thoughts? Anyone jumping out in this range for you?
I said it the middle of the week. Brad Keselowski starting 18th. He's been running a lot better than we saw earlier in the year. He's the kind of guy who wants to finish the season strong going into the second year with RFK. So I think that he's going to put together another strong run and has a good shot at a top 10 this week.
Yep, I agree. Eric Jones starting 30th at 6,800. Christopher Buescher, another RFK, and starting 19th. Michael McDowell, 6,500. Ricky Stenhouse, 6,400. Justin Haley and Cole Custer round out the 6K range. 6K range is kind of gross, but I feel like there's got to be a couple guys in here that we will gravitate towards to make lineups work. Obviously, Brad K starting 18th. It could be easy enough just to jump up to him, spend a couple extra $100. But Chris Buescher, McDowell, and Justin Haley are all guys that we've kind of gravitated towards this season in this range, and I don't think if we had to go to them again, I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibilities.
No, I think both Buescher and McDowell are good plays at their cost basis. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at the top of the qualifying board too, it's 3 consecutive Fords. So I mean, that the manufacturers are sharing data to a
Yep.
certain degree. So it would be good. Maybe you load up on these back end Fords and skip over. Maybe you have a Logano and then come back down to the rest of the horses down here at the bottom of the salary board.
Yep. Stenhouse is just a complete cross off for me. He's ready for the off season, and we are
Yeah.
too.
I mean, he's driving a Nature's Balance granola
Yeah.
bar car. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's gonna fall apart like those granola bars.
exactly. It's
All over the
crumbling
track.
at the seams. Yeah.
Below 6K range, there's just a bunch of names. Ty Gibbs qualified well, good for him. Ty
Yeah, I
Dillon,
don't
not so
expect him
much.
to run there.
Harrison Burton starting 6th, not in love with that. Corey LaJoy, Gilliland 31, Landon Castle, Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, and Garrett Smithley. I mean, if you have to get rid this cheap, is there a name that you're even considering?
I mean, of those guys, the only person, the best car of that group, honestly, I would feel is Gilliland of the 51 and below. So I'd probably just go to him starting 31st. And then of the guys in the like Corey LaJoy through Ty Gibbs, I mean Ty Dillon starting 32nd, I guess, but
Yep.
honestly, it's almost a complete avoid for
Yeah,
me.
Gillen, Castle, and Dylan. You just hope they don't wreck. You hope they don't end up 3 laps down, and
Yep.
you can put some lineups together. So let's build a lineup. Let's see what we can get done, and see how cheap we have to be at the end. So, do we want to get Ross in? Do we want to just scratch him off and see what we can do? Are you like? I guess if you
I
have
think
to,
I was just gonna say, I think we make a lineup where we pick 2 of the 4
okay,
championship drivers.
okay. Do we want to go Dominator and Ross? Do we want to go?
So I
Okay,
was
let
gonna
me ask
say
you this:
we both really like Logano.
is it Ross or Bell for you?
I mean, for the salary savings and the 8 extra spots, I think it's got to be Chastain.
Okay, so now we're down to 7,200 per driver. So now let's cruise down here and see what we can do. So, I mean, I think Busher makes sense starting 1967. You go with that?
Yeah, I mean, let's add his
Should we?
RFK teammate
I
Brad.
was just gonna say, should we double RFK it? Kind of
Uh,
seems like the move. And then we
yeah.
have 7,700. So we could go down. Like, I mean, if we put Gilliland in there, that opens up pretty much anything we want to do. Denny starting 21st.
I was just gonna say, I think there's an interesting narrative to be had here with Alex Bowman,
Mhm.
who, if I'm not mistaken, he's from the area.
Is he from Phoenix or is he from? I feel like Vegas, but let's see, hometown. He's from Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, huh? Yeah, so
Tucson,
I mean,
Arizona.
so it's only a couple hour drive from
Yeah.
here. So this is essentially his home track. It's his first race back after the concussion syndromes. You know,
Yeah.
Hendrick have great cars coming into this weekend. Um, I I don't mind trying to squeeze him in there at 8K, thinking that he's going to
He
put together a strong
scares
run.
me a little bit, but if we're going for a GPP lineup, he could make some sense. Um, obviously the risk is there, but he could qualify or he could perform pretty well tomorrow and end up flying up the leaderboard and end up in battling for a top 10. You'd be loving life there. So I'm not going to fight you too hard on that, but that puts us, I mean, McDowell makes some sense. Justin Haley could make some sense, or we could go down and get Gilliland. I think those are the names.
So Gilliland finished 19th, I believe it was, earlier on this season.
Let's do it.
And like I said, of those guys, I think he has the best shot of this, like that little group of putting together a strong run, finishing inside the top 20.
Yep. All right, let's build one more because I want to see if we can do something.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. So
Mad
obviously,
scientist is coming out.
well, last race of the year, might as well build a couple and see what we can do.
True.
So my question is, do we want to try and squeeze in? I think we try and squeeze in Chase.
Okay.
Then the question is, do we want Bell or do we want to skip the rest of these guys?
I think that's a good call. Like I said, you're going to have to get weird with these.
Yeah, let's do this. Part of me wants to put Suarez in, but then I'm like, if Suarez figures it out, then maybe Rock
Chastain has to, yeah.
Yeah, they come together. So,
there's honestly this week's DK stuff. There's not a lot of people that are intriguing to me, just with where they're starting or salary, and what's going to be going on for the race. Yeah. Interesting to note. I'm just glancing over statistics here. Ty Dillon, over the last 5 years, he's ran 3 of the races here in Phoenix, and his worst finish is 21st.
Welcome to the squad, Ty Dillon.
Yeah, he's got 2 15th place finishes the other 2 races. So he's familiar with this track. He seems to run pretty well.
Should we go Kyle Busch?
I don't know if Kyle Busch is like mentally there anymore. I don't think he gives a flying F.
Yeah.
Finishing out with JGR, especially the comments we've heard him say, he feels pretty spurned. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we'll have to recap, including the return of Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, that's freaking awesome, dude. Especially Petty GMS. Like, let's go, Eric Jones.
So we'll have to do. Maybe we can do a recap show after everything's done next week or something, or in 2 weeks. Okay, so we have Elliott, Hamlin, Keselowski, Busher, Dillon. Part of me wants to do this.
I was gonna say we can't go both RFK guys in 2 lineups. Let's terrifying.
Keep Keselowski and let's go with the Gilly gang. Okay. And that gives us 11-5.
Ooh.
And then we can just put Christopher Bell or Ross Chastain in. Where's Suarez? He's 8,400.
I mean, So you said it. If we're getting weird here, you said Ryan Blaney is a guy who he looked great practice and qualifying. Dude, like I'm still a firm believer. Like I'm going to be astounded if he finishes the entire year without a win.
Yeah. I'd rather just bet him. Well, let me see what I can do here. We put Suarez in. What does that give us? 10-1? Not quite up to Chastain.
Yeah, just put Chastain in.
Okay.
And then, okay, we got 8,100.
So Bowman's in play again. I don't know if I love Austin or AJ.
Let me dive into the data again.
Yeah. Trying to spend the money. I mean, we could just go back to Keselowski, and I know it's leaving a little bit on the table, but
where'd Bubba qualify? 23rd.
It can make sense.
He finished a lap down in the spring.
Yeah.
But he did have 3 consecutive 19th or better finishes in the desert from 2020 to the spring of 2021 before crashing at the first race or the last race here last year.
I mean, we could take Denny out and we could put in Daniel.
And that's a lot of salary savings right there.
And then we put in Gilliland, and that gives us 9,600, which allows us to put Ryan Blaney in. And we can go Elliott, Blaney, and then Suarez, Chastain, Gilliland, Dillon.
That is gross, but that is the kind of lineup that could take home the bag there.
Yeah. Got two dominator potentials. Obviously, a bunch of guys that could move through the field. Maybe get top 20s out of these guys. Maybe even flirt with top 15s. And then Chastain moves all the way up. Suarez comes with him. And then we win all the money. So I'm glad we were able to win all the money on DraftKings this week, Brian. I'm just really excited to put all those lineups together. Let's recap where our betting card is currently sitting, and then we'll figure out what we want to add to it. So my only outright as I sit now is 4-1 on Mr. Joey Logano. Put 2 units there. Went heavy on the head-to-heads. They were giving me plus money on DraftKings, and I took advantage. So Logano over Elliott plus 130. Chastain over Elliott plus 135. Bell over Elliott 105. Logano over Bell plus 110. Ross over Bell plus 120. Added a Kevin Harvick top 10 at minus 170. Curious to see where that goes. Briscoe top 10 at minus 125 is feeling really good right about now after his qualifying. And Larson over Hamlin is the show bet for the week, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Brian's card also on Logano at 4-1. He has Harvick top 10, Keselowski top 10. He has Hamlin over Larson, Logano over Elliott, Chastain over Elliott as his best bet at plus 135.
Not looking great now, by the way.
Not so good right about now, and Bell over Elliott. So with Action Network and Odds Checker being down, we'll just run through DraftKings. We'll see if there's any fun numbers at FanDuel, and then we'll give you a best bet and get the hell out of here. So we're looking as we sit now. Chase Elliott is your favorite, plus 250. Logano is up to 3-1. Christopher Bell at 5-1 and Chastain at 5-1 are both really interesting.
The one thing about this is simply because of the championship outrights I'm holding. I would not bet either Bell or Chastain on an outright. That's
if you didn't
short.
have outrights on them, and we saw how they qualified today, and you're going to the window with looking for a fresh bet, and you had to bet one of these 4, is it still Logano at 3-1, or would you be tempted by the little bit longer of odds on Christopher Bell or Ross Chastain?
I'd probably go to the board with both Bell and Chastain, to be honest with you, if I wasn't holding them on the championship. Just seeing the way that the season has transpired, I don't see any reason why qualifying is they're going to turn around their efforts from qualifying and put together a strong day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Especially I don't understand why Elliott is such a strong favorite here. I mean, that's assuming He's going to dominate the race, probably win at least one of the first 2 stages, and then just need to finish or just prevent the other 3 from winning the
Yeah.
race, and then he would win. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, that's why we're fading him in the head-to-head market, my friend. He's been awesome, and he's been really, really strong, and he's obviously been here before and knows how to win when it matters. So I think that's probably why, and it's probably based on the money. Ryan Blaney's odds have shrinking. They were 20 to 1 when we were talking. Obviously, the winner has come from the Final Four so many times that it's really hard to bet anyone that's not one of these 4, but Larson is a compelling option at 9 to 1. Blaney was a compelling option. As strong as he looked even in qualifying, his number going from 20 to like 7 is that's a sharp turn. So I'm all set there. Harvick at 15 is fine.
Nope.
I just I don't know. I don't really want to bet any outrights.
Honestly, this is just me like spitballing, but I almost feel there's better value on going with somebody who's too young and dumb to realize that he's supposed to seed way for the playoff drivers, and that would be like a Chase Briscoe at 30 to 1, because he's probably not caring that these guys are racing for a championship. He's just going to race for the win regardless.
Cindric the same way, 100 to 1. I don't know that I trust him to win the race.
Yeah, like a guy like Harvick or Hamlin, as much as disappointed as Hamlin is for not being here, or Harvick for kind of having a disappointing season, they're the veterans who understand what's at stake here, and they're going to play it. They're going to be respectful of the situation.
I think that's a great call. Let's keep it rolling. So Harvick, we got it minus 170. He's now minus 250.
Incredible.
So that's some nice CLV there. We'll see if it comes to fruition. These numbers are just aggressive. Chase Briscoe minus 125.
What'd you get it at?
I mean, that's what I got him at, and I still like it. So if you want to ride the Briscoe train with me, that's a good way to go. Kyle Busch at minus 110 is fine. Tyler Reddick hasn't really performed here, but he's a different driver, and he qualified fine enough that plus 100, basically even money is kind of interesting.
Yeah, like we said, he's kind of floundered over this latter part of the season, and mind you, he's coming off of a race where he retired early because he wasn't feeling well. So I mean, who knows if any sort of symptoms pop up again during the race?
Yeah. Keselowski.
So I saw. Yep. Yeah, I'm going back to that. It's not like he qualified 30th or anything.
Yeah. How gross is this?
It's absolutely freaking disturbing.
We're at the final race of the season. We've been all over this guy all year, and now we're like, you know what? Michael McDowell 5 to 1. That he feels like a much better driver than Gibbs and Stenhouse and Burton.
The fact that Stenhouse has the same numbers as Michael McDowell is crazy to me, considering that Stenhouse is more likely to spin himself out than he is to even finish inside the top 20 at races like this. I don't understand the Ty Gibbs thing either. He qualified fine, but that, I mean, he's a rookie.
Yeah,
well, he's going to have some growing pains.
Maybe we'll be able to fade him. Let's see if we can fade him. Where'd I go? Driver props, yeah. So Logano is plus money over Chase Elliott. Chastain is plus 130 now over Chase Elliott. Wait, what did we get it at?
I think we got it similar, no?
We got a 135, so actually it's gone down.
Wow, and he qualified
despite
like shit.
Ross not qualifying the greatest. Plus 120. I don't think I bet that.
Ooh, Bell over Elliott plus 130.
Yeah. Some good numbers. Bell over Logano plus 120.
All right, this is going to be the first time all season I would do this, but I'm going to take the juice with Kyle Larson at plus 110 over Ryan Blaney, simply because Larson is driving for the Owners' Championship and Blaney is not driving for anything.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna take Briscoe over Byron too. Giving me
Oh, I am
minus
gonna bet that
105
too.
with a driver who looked awesome in qualifying, and I already expected to have a strong performance. I will happily take that. What's our Larson? 110? Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
I am also taking Martin Truex Jr. over Kyle Busch at minus 105.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
like I said, I forget who I saw it on. It was some on Action Network's picks. I think it was Nick Giffen. He was talking about how you could tell that Busch has basically punted on the season, and Truex is still trying to finish out the season strong, knowing he's returning to
Yeah.
JGR.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The fact that he'll be back next year and as the driver is interesting.
yeah, so there's definitely something to that. So getting the better juice with Truex, I think to me is too good to pass up for this last race here.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. And I think there's a few guys, Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, where things just aren't really going well. They'll just be like, yeah, let's just pull in the garage. There's no point in
Yeah, right. Like
squeezing out a 27th here.
yeah, it's not
Um,
beneficial to them to potentially wreck. Well, for Kyle Busch, he's not going to care, but for like a Stenhouse,
yeah,
wrecking the car is not going to be a good idea
right.
for the last race of the year.
Anything interesting? So the championship driver wins the race, minus 500.
Told you, man.
Um,
It's like
yeah.
it's money. I'm not going to bet that. That's way too short.
Different manufacturer wins stage 1 and 2. So we get like a Chevy, Ford, Toyota. That could be interesting. Let's see. Where did I put those? Let's go over to FanDuel, see if they have any interesting numbers. So let's go to their props. Top 10 odds over at FanDuel.
FanDuel has Kozlowski even money to top 10 right now, by the way.
Yeah. And what do we get them at?
3-1 at DK. This
Yeah.
is why you shop the market.
Shop the lines.
McDowell is 6-1 and Gibbs is 10-1.
Okay.
And Gibbs is 5-1, so McDowell's 5-1 on DK.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take McDowell at 6. We get him at 6-1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I will take that. Truex at minus 140 to top 10 is kind of interesting.
That is a pretty good number.
What was he at DK?
Something like minus 170.
Oh no, he's plus money at. That's way
Oh,
better.
fuck. I'm going to add that, actually. Fuck it. Oh, pardon me. It's the last race of the year.
The
Let's
FCC
go.
is gonna come get us.
Right.
Suarez plus 100, Jones 3-1, Busher 3-1. Busher.
I think he's the same on both.
Yeah. See, this is why we need our friend Action Network to come back and figure it out, because this is not nearly as seamless.
No. Let's see here.
All right, group betting: Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Harvick. Yeah, feels about right. Byron, Truex, Briscoe, Busch. Truex at +1 at plus 280 is kind of interesting to win this group. Almirola, Suarez, Bowman, Keselowski. Keselowski at plus 260 to beat Bowman, Suarez, and Almirola feels like a nice bet.
I feel like in all of these groups, though, you can go and wager like two guys out of the group.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get. He's plus 280 on DraftKings. That's even better.
That is really good.
Chastain. Wait. Oh, what? Oh, I see.
It's because of the stupid points of the stages
I
and
want to see something. I still don't think it lets you parlay them. Oh, that's stupid. I swear it let me do it last year with Kyle Larson.
okay,
Good point.
let me look at this. So it's group winner and what? And
No,
race winner?
yeah. You bet one to win the championship and one to win the to actually win the race. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, you cannot parlay.
Yeah, Truex is minus 116 on FanDuel. Bubba's a favorite against Tyler Reddick on FanDuel. I don't like that. I'm give me Tyler Reddick.
Man, I almost wish there was like more top 20 bets and all that kind of stuff because I would just hammer the
Remember
hell
when
out of
they
those
did
things.
that for like 2 weeks and then they just like
That was
took it away?
great.
I'm
That was
guessing
fan.
they just got murdered on that stuff.
I
So
was
they
gonna
stopped
say they
doing
learned
it.
their lesson quick that is not a good
Yeah.
market to post, especially when they were giving plus money to guys.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna post a top 20 market in a NASCAR race, all of those have to be shorter than even.
All right, Brian. Any other thing else you want to look at?
No, I'm just praying that either Ross Chastain or Christopher Bell actually win the championship, holding 50
Okay,
to 1
so let's
tickets
do
on
this.
both of them.
First,
Like,
we'll recap our card. We'll give a best bet, and then we'll give our prediction for who wins who's the champion on Sunday.
all right.
Bet tracker. Here is the bets. It's long. Logano over Elliott, Chastain over Elliott, Bell over Elliott, Logano over Bell, Ross over Bell, Harvick top 10. Chase Briscoe, you can still get the minus 125. That is my best bet from Wednesday. Logano at 4-1 was my best outright at that point. Larson over Hamlin, Keselowski top 10, McDowell top 10 at 6-1. Briscoe over Byron, Larson over Blaney, and Reddick over Bubba is where I sit right now. Brian has Logano at 4-1 as well. He has Harvick top 10, Keselowski top 10, Hamlin over Larson, Logano over Elliott. He had Chastain over Elliott as his best bet, which has actually gone down despite Elliott qualifying well and Chastain not so much. Chris Bell over Elliott, Keselowski top 10, Larson over Blaney, Truex over Kyle Busch, and you added Truex to top 10 at plus 100. Brian Twining, what is your best bet for Sunday's race, and who is your champion?
All right. So this is probably going to bite me in the ass because it's the first time all season I'm not betting for him, but my best bet's got to be Larson over Ryan Blaney. Like I said when I was
That's a good
describing
bet.
this, Larson is driving for something, and Blaney is just driving for respect at this time, and he would maneuver out of the way to allow Logano to pass him. So give me Larson over Blaney. I'm going to go 5 units on that. I mean, it's the last race of the year. Why the hell not?
Yep.
And for my 2022 NASCAR Cup Series champion, regardless of what my betting card says here, I got to stick to my guns that I've been going for all season. And it was one of my favorite guys early on in the season. Christopher Bell is going to make a run, and he is going to be the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series champion. And I will be cashing 28-1 and 50-1 outright tickets on him.
Woo, baby. Love it. Love it. I too am going to get a little loose with my pick. I too am going to get a little aggressive. Watermelon Man is cashing the 50-1 we got back in February. He is winning the race. He is winning the championship. And we will be smashing watermelons live. I cannot wait. The video will be glorious.
I will take a video of myself like
Ross Chastain will be on the Phoenix Raceway smashing a melon as your 2022 NASCAR champion. I am so excited. Enjoy the race. Good luck with your DraftKings, with your bets. We'll be back next week, probably Wednesday, to recap all that was.
the season.
and recap our betting cards and talk all the nonsense and just be generally excited because Watermelon Man is going to win it all for us. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Thank you to everybody who's stuck around all season with us. Your views, your likes, your comments, all that stuff is super appreciated. Win all the money, and we'll talk to you next time.